It was a dry, dusty evening in the small town of San Miguel, Mexico, on the edge of the desert. 5 friends, Lucas, Javier, Maria, Elena, and Diego, had been planning this trip for months. Their obsession with the paranormal had led them to one of the most notorious haunted mansions in the region, Casa del Sombra, an abandoned estate with a history so dark even locals avoided it after sunset. Stories whispered of spirits that could mimic human form, jinns that appeared as loved ones or strangers, called san in the old legends, and of travelers who had entered but never returned. The air was thick and heavy as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in bruised shades of orange and purple. The 5 friends stood at the wrought-iron gates, the mansion looming like a silent predator. Its windows, black and hollow, seemed to watch them. "You sure this is a good idea?" Elena whispered, clutching her flashlight. "You sure this is a good idea?" Elena whispered, clutching her flashlight. Lucas grinned, trying to mask his nerves. "It's perfect. Think about it. This could be the footage that makes us famous. Real paranormal activity right here in Mexico." Javier rolled his eyes, but followed the group. Maria, always curious and fearless, pushed the creaking gate open, and they stepped onto the cracked stone pathway leading to the mansion. As soon as they entered, the temperature dropped sharply. Their flashlights flickered, shadows stretching unnaturally across the walls. The mansion smelled of rot and something else, something ancient. "I feel watched," Diego muttered, his voice tight. "Don't be silly," Lucas said, though his own teeth chattered slightly. The friends explored room by room, a grand hall with a shattered chandelier, a library where books lay scattered and moldy, a dining room frozen in decay. Every corner seemed alive. Whispers, soft and fleeting, echoed around them. Sometimes it sounded like their names. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, they couldn't tell. Time seemed suspended in the house. Then the first real terror appeared. In the library, Maria gasped. Standing in the corner was a figure resembling Diego, but his eyes were black voids. The figure smiled, a horrifyingly wide grin, and the room went icy cold. "Diego?" she whispered, but the figure didn't answer. Suddenly, Javier screamed. Another son appeared, this time mimicking Elena, stepping silently from the shadows with an unnatural jerking motion. She wasn't herself anymore. Chaos erupted. Lucas tried to grab Maria, but the shape-shifting spirits moved impossibly fast, their forms flickering between human and something else, long limbs, shadowy faces, and whispers that seemed to crawl into the mind. One by one, the friends were separated. The mansion itself seemed to bend, hallways stretching and twisting, trapping them. Diego fought off a son that looked like Lucas, but it dragged him into the darkness, his screams echoing endlessly. Lucas and Maria ran upstairs, seeking a safe room, but the mansion was alive. Doors slammed shut, windows shattered from the inside, and whispers grew into shrieking laughter. In the attic, they found old symbols painted in blood, Jinn traps and wards. Lucas, desperate, tried to make sense of the markings. Maria, trembling, whispered, "They're not just ghosts. They're hunting us. They can be anyone, anyone we've ever known." A san appeared in the attic mirror, reflecting Maria's own face, twisted into a horrifying grin. Maria froze, and Lucas barely grabbed her, pulling her to hide behind an old trunk. Minutes, or what felt like hours, later, only Lucas remained conscious and aware. The others had succumbed to the jinns. The mansion seemed to mock him, its shadows pressing in, whispering his name. Lucas ran, heart hammering, instincts guiding him. He could feel the Jinn shifting, appearing as friends, relatives, even himself in reflections and dark corners. Each glance threatened to trap him, but he remembered the symbols, remembered something from the old tales. Jinns fear the light of a pure flame and will avoid certain sacred wards. He grabbed an old candle and the lighter from the attic, the faint light shaking but alive. As he lit it, shadows recoiled and whispers turned to angry shrieks. He ran, following instinct rather than memory, until he found the main door. The moment he crossed the threshold, the temperature rose, the oppressive weight lifted, and for a brief second, the mansion was silent. Lucas collapsed outside, gasping, the night air heavy with the distant echoes of his friends' screams. He survived, but the memory was burned into his mind forever. He later wrote everything down, warning others. Do not seek the unknown for thrills. The San are not spirits that play. They are hunters. They take the form of your loved ones, your friends, your own reflection. In Casa del Sombra, there is no mercy, only survival. If you hear whispers in the shadows, run. Do not look back. Lucas never returned to the mansion. He never saw his friends again. And sometimes, when he looked in the mirror late at night, he thought he saw a shadow that was not his own, watching, waiting, smiling.